Welcome to ZKast. I'm Zeus Kerravala from ZK Research, and I'm here inside the Expo Hall, WebEx 2025 in San Diego, with Joe Berger, the one and only Joe Berger from Worldwide Technology.
We're back.
Yeah, we are back, and another WebexOne.
Another WebexOne.
What you think of it?
I think it's great. A lot of announcements. It's funny. I've had a couple of conversations around this today. I think in the past couple of years, AI was sort of this new thing everyone was talking about. Now it's out. It's being used. It's practical. It's real. But I think Cisco came out with a lot of stuff today right off the bat. So there's a lot to talk about.
I thought the vision statement G2 laid down there about connected experiences, where it's really going from people talking to people, which was distance zero, and then people talking to agents.
People to AI, AI to AI.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of an interesting thought process. But I think that's the direction we're heading.
Yes.
I'm curious from your customer base, like you deal with a lot of large enterprises that aren't exactly, most big enterprises aren't cutting edge, right? They want to make sure that all their I's are dotted and T's are crossed before they move ahead. Within that spectrum of distance zero to connected experiences, where are we here?
It's definitely a mix. I think it's really still the people to AI everyone's trying to figure out. We've got a lot of customers who have deployed AI and they're out of their pilots and they've already got their next use case starting to get defined, so they're deploying it, and then there's other customers who are like, whoa, my data's not ready for this, hold on, I don't want to touch it yet. So it kind of runs the gambit. But yeah, we work with customers of all sizes to kind of help them get through this journey.
Yeah, so I'm glad you bring up the data, because when I talk to customers, what holds them back, right? I think there's a strong desire to do AI.
Yeah.
Right, but when then you ask, well, what's holding you back? There's obviously the security and guardrails.
There's data and security and guardrails, for sure.
And even the data management piece of it, right? And I think a lot of what Cisco's done with their portfolio and the whole platform story has been about trying to secure your contact center, secure your meetings, secure Zoom, right? Or whatever AI platform you want to use. And are you finding that's working? Like, are people buying into the platform story now?
It is, and I think Cisco putting that security wrapper is such a big piece of it. I think G2 has finally started putting all these different business units of Cisco together and telling that holistic story. I think he had to kind of do that in order to kind of move the company forward, to have this sort of one Cisco vision. I also think where he talked about today between the AI data center, future-proof work, and digital resilience. I think that message is finally starting to resonate with customers.
Yeah. Now, and again, you talk with a lot of large enterprises that typically tend to have siloed IT organizations. Yeah. When you think about those plays, they're all cross-architecture.
Correct.
Maybe not data center. Well, even that to some degree. Right? How are you able to navigate that from a sales perspective and help customers consume it, but still maintain their organizational structure?
Well, I think part of it is actually being able to tell the story to the right audience. It's not necessarily the IT director who's going to care about this cross-domain thing. The telecom guy is probably not going to care so much about the networking side too. So you have to go up a little bit to talk to customers. The other part of that too is also then making sure you can consume it simply. It's not just telling the story, but it's how does the customer actually buy it, consume it, and then ultimately adopt all of it. So Cisco, I think, is getting better on the consumption side in terms of how it's licensed and how they can actually sell it. It's sort of evolving, but I think the story of it is finally resonating. Like, okay, here's where the future of work is. I get how the network now affects my video endpoints and how I use observability tools to actually understand what's going on. So I think that story in itself is starting to really work.
Good. Yeah, and then I also wanted to ask you about a lot, the future-proof workplaces has really tied into return to office. Yeah. Right? And I think a lot of what they've announced, AI in the devices, workspace designer, the new feature, I can't remember what it's called, that they rolled out today about being able to use AI to model the room.
Like a digital twin of it.
Yeah. Have you used those tools yet? Or?
We're starting to test them out. The digital twin idea, I think it's great because you can actually see what is going on within my room and does this make sense? Do I need to put another mic in the ceiling or another speaker over here? So I think it gives customers the chance to actually say, hey, what's going on with my space? Then also, how do I repeat it? Because what we get into a lot is customers say, hey, I want to take this room, but I want to do 50 more of them just like it. They want to make sure that what they put in the room is going to work every time.
Cisco isn't cheap, but it does offer really a tremendous experience, right?
It does.
And so without something like Workspace Designer, you could put the stuff in, and then you're going to wind up with holes and audio and video, and then people are going to think, well, the stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. And so then you get this lesser experience, and that makes you look bad, makes the equipment look bad, and so something like that actually helps you model out before you deploy it what the experience is going to be.
Yeah, like. And I would say the workspace design tool for companies like us, where we can go to a customer, sit down with them, and go, okay, here's what your large meeting room looks like. Here's what we would recommend in there, size of screen, distance from the table. It does make it easier for us to help customers understand, like, what are the right tools to go put into that room, and then how do I build a catalog of those tools to say, hey, I need 50 small rooms, 20 medium rooms. It just makes it a lot easier to plan versus going room to room every time.
Yeah. And a couple years ago when I talked to you, I asked you what you want to see at a Cisco, and you had said more ThousandEyes.
More
right?
ThousandEyes.
And they've loaded that.
They've done it.
Everywhere, including the devices.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to somebody about this. So should the device be considered part of that office infrastructure?
Yes.
Just
100%.
like you would do Wi-Fi.
It's just like as we talk about LDOS for a lot of these big networking deployments or these campus refreshes. How do I start including the video endpoint as part of that refresh? Because you have to start looking at it more holistically. And I think, Cisco even talked about today around the, is it the network-enabled video?
Yes.
They had a term for it, where it's now all kind of connected, but you want that visibility into the room, into the branch, into the campus, and they've now allowed things like ThousandEyes to actually see what's going on with all these different segments now.
Yeah, and as we go down this AI path and we start having agents, automated processing and stuff, I'm not sure how you can separate security, networking, and observability. To me, those things
all starts coming together.
And I think Cisco's Splunk acquisition, because
Splunk's been a big help for that too.
Yeah, it was very timely, and I don't know, Joe. It just seems like we've been waiting for this story for so many years, and now it's like it's finally here.
I think the story's come together, and what we're also really excited for is AI Canvas.
Yeah,
I showed today the collaboration piece coming into it. I got to tell you, from an AI perspective, AI for IT operations has probably been one of our hottest topics that customers are asking us about, because they're now seeing the value of AI from an IT perspective, and they're trying to figure out, how do I implement a lot more of these tools? And honestly, it might be a tool reduction at some point for some of these customers, but I think they just want to say, how do I take all the information, and how can AI actually solve the problem or predict the problem before it becomes a problem now? And AI Canvas is going to do a lot of that.
Yeah, well, this is where I think, when you talk about the early use cases of AI, people talk about CX.
Yeah.
Right?
And Cisco, easy one. Contact center's been easy.
But I think number two is the IT operations side, and I think the commonality in both those cases is we talk a lot about, is AI going to take jobs or is it not? In IT and in contact center, they can't hire enough people.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I can use AI to close that gap, that's a big win, right?
100%. Yeah. Especially contact center has been a really easy justification for us. It's pretty easy to go look at contact center numbers, how many calls am I getting, how quickly can I get an agent off a call, what's meeting summarization and wrap up. Yeah. If you know those numbers, you can quickly come up with your ROI of like, hey, AI is going to solve me this, it's going to get my agent back on a call within 1 minute versus 3 minutes. It's an easier way just to say, it makes financial sense to go down this path. And I think IT is going down the same thing with, how do I resolve tickets quicker? How do I troubleshoot something faster? Yeah.
The last thing actually I want to ask you about, and this has got to be music to your ears, is the openness with the platform is now.
That's great.
So we saw Eric on a video with G2.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, from Zoom, that's CEO of Zoom.
I didn't have that on the bingo card this year.
They talked about Copilot integration.
Yeah.
The Zoom and Microsoft.
The Glean integration that they announced,
A couple of years ago, Zoom and Microsoft were literally mortal enemies.
Yeah.
In fact, if you mentioned those two companies inside here, they'd run you out of here.
Funny how time changes.
Now, from your perspective, I'm sure every customer is saying, look, we got Zoom, we got Teams.
We love it.
We want to use it all together. This has to make your life easier, right?
We love it, especially, about a year ago when Cisco really got into the Microsoft Teams game, we just started seeing a tremendous amount of activity selling Teams rooms. I think customers wanted that level from a company like Cisco to get into that game, especially with Microsoft. Now with the announcement of Zoom, it's just, it's hard to beat that combo. But to your point, the interoperability out of Cisco these days, it's not something we would have expected years ago. Yeah. And it's, for us, because we work with all these different partners in this ecosystem, it just makes our story more compelling too now.
Yeah, well, when I was a reseller at Cisco, the one thing, in fact, the first maybe 15 years of my career as an analyst, what people would always say is they're proprietary, they're trying to lock you in, but that does not appear.
Changed
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
And for customers, I mean, it's just a huge value add. You
Yeah.
know, they can go, Cisco can work with all these different meeting vendors now, and it just gives you a lot more options than you ever had.
Yeah, all right, any other thoughts from the show?
No, I think it's been great so far. A lot of announcements, everything AI.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Yeah, I do think in the not too distant future, we'll stop talking about AI.
It's like saying cloud or the internet 20 years ago.
In fact, I was talking to Aruna, their CMO, for WebEx about this, because she put on the AI Summit. And I said, if you're doing this event in 5 years, the event kind of failed.
Yeah.
Right, because I remember back in the day I used to go to internet conferences and things. Could you imagine going to an internet conference today?
Tell me more about this internet thing.
Yeah, and AI is going to be the same way. In fact,
I agree.
Somebody asked G2 that on the analyst Q&A, and he said it's eventually going to be embedded into the fabric of everything we do. And I think that's right. When you want to go, today if you want to go to a restaurant, you Google it, right, and you look it up, you'll just ask whatever agent you have on there about it, maybe WebEx agent. Right, or
we've been trying to get a little more purposeful around our AI go-to-market.
Yeah.
One thing that we're doing a lot of is this notion of like workforce AI, AI for IT operations, AI for contact center. Get a little bit more like, hey, where's the purpose of it? What's it trying to solve for?
Yeah.
Where's the ROI behind it? So we've been spending a little bit more time there.
Yeah. All right.
But I agree. Like in 5 years, it's just native.
Yeah. Well, let me do you the solid of giving you a shout out for your AI Proving Ground.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to test AI,
come to the AI Proving Ground.
Yeah, which is a virtual environment that you can try all things AI.
Correct.
And leverage the equipment that you have from all these
all
vendors.
the major vendors. Yeah, come see what the latest and greatest is. See how the interop works between all of them. All located within our advanced technology center.
Yeah, and so if you don't want to buy all the equipment yourself, rack and stack it. Call Joe Berger worldwide.
Call me.
Yeah. You
Love
good?
It. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We're
so
good.
On behalf of Joe Berger from Worldwide Technology, I'm Zeus Kerravala from CK Research. Always great to get a partner perspective, and I'll see you next time on my next episode of ZKast.